You suck at AT Arkveld. Starting from before the hunt, since it's a 10-star monster, I'd recommend having fully upgraded anti-scented armor. Comfy skills like Divine Blessing, Stun Res, or Blight Res can help a lot with this fight. For weapon matchups, at least in my experience and a few corroborated by others, there are no bad matchups. It'll be as good as you are with the weapon. Just pick the weapon you feel you have the best grasp of its mechanics and inner workings. Something where you know the pros and cons of its defensive options and feel comfortable with. AT's arm pops specifically require element damage to be present, which if you want the exact mechanics and values on, check out Random Wild's research AT Arkveld by yours truly. Now, let's familiarize yourself with its new moves and how to generally go about countering them. Starting off easy, its quick aerial chain slap is relatively reactable and most of your defenses will work against it. Its double chain uppercut has two variants, a dragon version by default and during Arc from Unleashed state can be woke instead. The dragon version is hard to handle and the main thing to note is that it usually serves as a combo starter for Arkveld. The woke version shares this property, but it's a bit more dangerous. The explosions can attach iframes if you aren't out of the explosion, or forces you into double perfect blocking. Offsets and hyper armor still work, but the explosions can rack up a ton of chip and stun, so getting hit by a follow-up frequently cucks you. The woke dive bomb is countered by most options, but can catch you depending on positioning due to the woke explosions. You want to keep an eye out to either flash pod or defend against, and then quickly close distance during the follow-up. Speaking of which, the quad dragon line has its perfect timing change depending on how far you are, but it's relatively easy to perfect block or hyper armor, and has few enough active frames to be standard iframeable without any evasion buffs. Arkveld will typically throw out this move from mid to long range, or be forced to after a woke dive bomb. If you find yourself still at the mid to long ranges after it uses this move, it's set to use its Nova. Get in close and it'll cancel into one of its finishing moves with a longer recovery. Speaking of Novas, the Dragon version explodes much faster and hence your Superman sooner if you're in its path. The woke version spreads out to the sides, but means that if you're already closing the distance, you can get past the explosion since there's considerable space between Arkveld and the explosions. A general rule of thumb for any moves with woke explosions is that they won't take kindly to standard roll iframes or perfect blocks, while causing hyper armor and offsets more chip damage. Moves with extended iframes can handle these explosions if timed correctly. Remember to use CC around the map, boulders, thunderbugs, or just your own traps. And pop wounds quickly. If Temper Wound regenerates, you'll have to reopen it, which is not a great time. Flash pods are a solid get out of jail free card, and you can save yourself from a lot of bad situations while giving yourself ample time to reset. If other Guardian monsters choose to pull up, remember that dung pods do nothing, so you can lure Arkveld to a separate area as long as the Guardian isn't enraged. Otherwise, you should wait for Arkveld to collaborate and force its retreat. Continuing to fight Arkveld as normal while the Guardian is attacking you can be risky, as due to the variability of what can happen when two monsters are actively fighting, wombo combos with AT Arc can very easily lead to unfair cards. And don't forget, during its event quest, it is capturable. So if you're on the last cart, don't risk the biscuit if you don't want to. People more than likely have all the Arkveld materials they could ever need, and just need tickets, which are solely from quest completion, not tied to Slayer capture.